exciting day of the year?
Good evening. Reds opening day is finally here, and we have you covered both inside and outside the game.
There you see our large coverage team there, and our live team coverage begins with sports anchor Dennis Jansen. Denny?
Carol and Clyde, they were thrown some curves this year. Major League Baseball originally scheduled the Reds' season opener for tomorrow, Good Friday. Well, Cincinnati team officials worked through that so as to host the 2012 opener this afternoon. Channel 9 Sports Director John Popovich was on hand for it. John?
DJ, it was a cool, it was a cloudy, and it was a wet morning in Greater Cincinnati, but that gave way to a beautiful day for baseball here at Great American Ballpark. And that allowed fans to start arriving a couple hours before the first pitch. Our Mark Slaughter snuck up on Gapper as he greeted some of the early fans. The Miami Marlins had played and lost last night in Miami. They were lined up ready for a game today, though, in Cincinnati. Big ovations for a couple of Reds players. Brandon Phillips got a charge from the crowd. He's the guy working on his contract expanded. His ovation was only surpassed by that for Joey Votto, the guy who did get his contract extended. We should see a lot more of these opening days from him. The pregame had the usual festivities, but also a moment of silence for members of the Reds family who have left us, including former Reds owner Carl Lindner. Then longtime prosecutor, judge, and now sheriff Simon Leash throughout the ceremonial first pitch. Little bouncy, a little outside, but he got it there, and the catcher was able to retrieve it. Right now, 1-0, Cincinnati Reds leading the Marlins, and I'm joined by Tom McKee, who's been out amongst the fans today. Tom?
Well, Tom, Papa, one thing interesting very much is, of course, Joey Votto showed his love for the team last night, and some of the fans today showed their love for the Reds as well. Dan Prickle started coming to opening day games when he was 18 years old. That was 40 years ago, and he shows no signs of breaking that streak right now. As gates opened at 1:40 p.m., fans streamed into Great American Ballpark, and they could feel the sense of optimism for 2012. Among those sharing that sentiment was Dan Prickle, who was shown his seat in section 419, row K. The Evendale man began coming to the game with his high school buddies years ago. He's going to rendezvous with them later tonight. But today, while he was waiting for his children, who picked up the same opening day fever that he's had for years and has had picked up all those long years ago.
My days remembering growing up, you couldn't walk down the street and not hear from every front porch what the next batter was doing. Everybody just sat out and enjoyed Reds baseball. That's the way it was in the 60s. And it just became a tradition to kick off the season. Summer started and the Reds started playing baseball. So once we'd done a few years in a row, we just said that's a tradition to always keep, and it was a chance to get back together with friends and enjoy Cincinnati.
Under the view from section 419 is spectacular, with the warm sun basking on all the fans who showed up for this game. Now, of course, the Reds have made a lot of changes inside and outside of the ballpark. I spent the day with many of them. We'll have their reaction, DJ, coming up at 6.
Thank you, Tom. And John, Reds President and CEO Bob Castellini may have tipped his hand about the Reds perhaps hosting an all-star game in the not-too-distant future. More on that and on the game itself when we return shortly. Clyde?
All right, Denny, thanks. It's a 93-year-old tradition, and the 2012 opening day parade kicked off with chilly but beautiful weather. Excitement for the start of the Reds season was throughout downtown. Crowds lined the 1.5-mile-long parade route this afternoon for some prime viewing spots. Good morning, Tri-State team. Catherine Nero, Lance Barry, meteorologist Larry Handley, also in today's parade.
And they look good, too, don't they? Opening day, of course, brings tens of thousands of people downtown, and this year, many of them headed down to the banks. This is the first year that a majority of the bars and restaurants there are open for business. 9 News reporter Jay Warren spent the day there, and he's live from an exclusive perch above the action. Jay, nice view?
Yeah, it is a very nice perch, I have to tell you, Carol, and it's been a great day down here at the Banks. We're on Craig Keller's balcony, by the way, here at Current at the Banks. And as you can see, it's just a perfect view of Great American Ballpark, and some folks are still along Joe Nuxall Way. They've been enjoying themselves all day. A brilliant view. Also brilliant today for businesses is the money that was coming down here. With a crowd like this, those selling beer were making money hand over fist. This is the first time the Reds have put on the Community Fund block party, and the first time Reds fans have had a place to eat and drink so close to Great American Ballpark.
It's a great time. It's very nice to have all of the downtown Cincinnati fans in one area to celebrate Reds opening day.
One of the cornerstones down on the Banks will be the Moorline Lager House. There were thousands of people there too.
We couldn't wait for the day to come. We've been preparing for weeks, and we have thousands of people having a great time.
With all the people drinking beer at $5 a draft, that's good business any way you pour it. And enough people to go around for every establishment.
I think that as a whole, we have plenty of people for everyone. It's busy all the way up the road. Plenty to do, plenty to see. Bands in different places, just a great place to be.
And earlier today, the Reds majority owner himself thinks the Banks will offer a whole new experience, not just for opening day, but for the entire season itself.
I think the added dimension of the Banks has really made this an over-the-top day. Not that it hasn't always been, but I mean around the ballpark. This is a very, very unique first-time experience to have all of this activity down here.
Now, just to give you an idea how much beer was going to be consumed at the Lager House, imagine a keg. Now imagine 60 kegs of beer. There were 8 different containers that each contained the amount of beer that goes into 60 kegs. They're going to go through all of it. Now, coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to show you more from the block party and talk to some of the folks down on the street.
All right, sounds like fun. Jay Warren reporting live. And now let's take a look at traffic. Adam Marshall is here now with what to expect if you're waiting for someone to make their way home through downtown. I think they've got a long wait, Adam.
Yeah, it's been a big day in the traffic world, Carol. I was here on Good Morning Tri-State to tell you about the issues this morning. 9 News at noon. I told you about all of those road closures thanks to the opening day parade, and we have more issues as we speak. Let's go ahead and get live out here. This is a live look. 71, we're looking northbound here at Pfeiffer. The reason you're only running about 10 to 20 miles an hour there was an accident up until about a couple of minutes ago off here on the right side, so slower than normal if you take 71 north on your way home. 2 significant accidents I want to mention. The first there in Kenwood at Montgomery Road at Miami, and then over on the west side, Rapid Run Pike and Pontius Road. Carol?
All right, thanks, Adam. And don't we all love opening day? We have you covered on air, online, and on the go. Opening day is a family affair, and for one local family today, it was particularly special. There are stories ahead on 9 News at 5:30. And if you caught opening day fever, we want to see your pictures. You can submit one through the 9 News app, through You Report It, or you can send it to newsdesk@wcpo.com.